Well, a friend of mine recently passed away, and that friend of mine used mushrooms and cannabis only. I'm not sure the circumstances of his death, but growing up in Reston, Virginia, around these power families who don't mind killing people to maintain their power and stature in the world and their financial, shall we say, resolve, I don't know what happened to my friend. But let me tell you this, folks, if you use cannabis or mushrooms, get it only from a trusted source. And that's why out west they legalized everything, so your friends don't die because people killed them with extra drugs within the medications they choose to use. I use medical cannabis. I get it from a trusted source. I've been drugged here in Washington, D.C. by strangers and by people who call me friends. So now we have to look at things realistically. And the unfortunate realistic thing is that people like to kill the do-gooders. People kill us. It's not just the government anymore either. The streets act just like the government in their thug, intimidation, destroy the community behavior, just like the United States government does. They use poverty as a tool, and they use fear, violence, and murder, and rape. So, and lots of money and cash and digital currency too. So what do? Well, I guess the first thing you do is make sure you don't get anything from anybody you don't trust at all, ever, anyone. Because guess what? They decide to kill people slowly. The streets, the government, secret families, and big corporations. And they use drugs oftentimes to do it. Another thing they do is they use sex workers. I learned this from my friend who did some time in war. In wartime, if you kill a man, they're just dead. You put them in a body bag and you ship them out. If you get them infected with, say, a venereal disease, which is very easy for a bunch of horny men who like beautiful ladies, you get them a venereal disease, then you have to have like medical staff caring for the individual. You have to have medication. You have to have a hospital for them to sit in while they're healing before you send them back to the war zone. So in wartime, which I am at war, I used to sit on the porch with my trusted loved ones in Pittsburgh and say, I'm moving to DC, back to where I grew up in the area, except I'm moving into the city with a tent. My car is gonna get repossessed, and I'm gonna have prayer and art warfare until I either die or change the world for the better. And you know what she said to me, my most important loved one up there? She said, if you fight, fight to win. And that's it. So I'm sorry my friend recently lost his life. I hope it was natural causes, and I hope it wasn't someone I know who murdered him. You know those types of people that show up at the funeral, whether they're drug dealers or just evil people who did the killing or provided the drugs that someone overdosed and died from. And I got plenty of personal experience with my friends dying from drugs. And plenty of personal experience with those same assholes who sold them the drugs showing up at the funeral. And the sad thing is after people die, some folks glorify them in their words rather than just say, hey, look, that person was a piece of shit. The earth is better off without them here, and I hope God finds a better way to deal with them because we never needed them here on this planet or anyone like them. That's how I feel about evil people. Evil exists. We're all bad and good, but evil exists. I'm gonna stop this right on 419. You got a minute? Oh, did I mention they get people incarcerated and they get you put in the psych ward too? That's these good families that shape the world. Hey, welcome to the new justice system, brought to you by Reston, Virginia, and all those families that changed their names to do social experiments on me and other kids growing up there in the 1970s and 80s before they mass-produced it and franchised it to the world. Check it out. You got to have diplomatic immunity in a lot of these cases, so lots of these families do. Hey, look, I'm indoors. Aren't y'all mad? Don't you wish you could make jokes about me being homeless or hungry or say how you helped me when you really hindered me for the past many years, maybe longer, swell people of swellness. When the devil smiles in your face, they're still the devil. And guess what? We good people of God are here to stop the work of all you devils on the planet. And so when the top three angels in heaven were Michael, Gabriel, and Lucifer was struck down to earth to do his evil, well, he had to have Michael and Gabriel help him out too. Gabriel says it all. And Michael's the man who transmogrifies and comes into these special places with magic and woos all the women with his beauty and muscle and might and power and glitz and glamour and magic. I wish people didn't manipulate the words of God or say that God doesn't even exist. Because guess what? God is real. That's why I'm not dead. And when I do die, I'll go to heaven. Where will you go? Oh, sure. Some families pretend they die. I guess those are the ones that have access to changing documents, death certificates, and manipulating the planet.